Berlin, 1936. First man, have you noticed how the March Violets have managed to completely overtake party veterans like you and me? Second man, you're right. Perhaps if Hitler had also waited a little before climbing onto the Nazi bandwagon, he'd have become Führer quicker too. Schwarze Korps, November 1935. Chapter 1. Stranger things happen in the dark dreams of the great persuader. This morning, at the corner of Friedrichstrasse and Jägerstrasse, I saw two men, SA men, unscrewing a red Der Stürmer showcase from the wall of a building. Der Stürmer is the anti-Semitic journal that's run by the Reich's leading Jew-baiter, Julius Streicher. The visual impact of these display cases, with their semi-pornographic line drawings of Aryan maids in the voluptuous embraces of long-nosed monsters, tends to attract the weaker-minded reader, providing him with cursory titillation. Respectable people have nothing to do with it. Anyway, the two SA men placed the Sturmkasten in the back of their lorry next to several others. They did their work none too carefully, because there were at least a couple which had broken glass covers. An hour later, I saw the same two men removing another one of these Sturmkasten from outside a tram stop in front of the town hall. This time I went up to them and asked what they were doing. "It's for the Olympiad," said one. "We're ordered to take them all down so as not to shock the foreign visitors who will be coming to Berlin to see the games." In my experience, such sensitivity on the part of the authorities is unheard of. I drove home in my car. It's an old black Hanomag, and changed into my last good suit, made of light grey flannel cloth. It cost me 120 marks when I bought it 3 years ago, and it is of a quality that is becoming increasingly rare in this country. Like butter, coffee and soap, new wool material is ersatz, more often than not. The new material is serviceable enough, all right, just not very hard-wearing, and rather ineffective when it comes to keeping out the cold in winter, or, for that matter, in summer. I checked my appearance in the bedroom mirror and then picked up my best hat. It's a wide-brimmed hat of dark grey felt, and is encircled by a black baratea band. Common enough, but like the Gestapo, I wear my hat differently from other men, with the brim lower in front than at the back. This has the effect of hiding my eyes, of course, which makes it more difficult for people to recognize me. It's a style that originated with the Berlin Criminal Police, the Krippel, which is where I acquired it. I slipped a packet of Marathis into my jacket pocket, and tucking a gift-wrapped piece of Rosenthal porcelain carefully under my arm, I went out. The wedding took place at the Lutherkirche on Dennewitzplatz, just south of Potsdamer railway station, and a stone's throw from the home of the bride's parents. The father, Herr Lehmann, was an engine driver out of Lehrter station, and drove the Dieser, the express train to Hamburg and back 4 times a week. The bride, Dagmar, was my secretary, and I had no idea what I was going to do without her. Not that I cared to know either. I'd often thought of marrying Dagmar myself. She was pretty and good at organizing me, and in my own odd way I suppose that I loved her. But then, at 38, I was probably too old for her, and maybe just a shade too dull. I'm not much given to having a wild time, and Dagmar was the sort of girl who deserved some fun. So, here she was, marrying this flyer. And on the face of it, he was everything that a girl could have wished for. He was young, handsome, and in the grey-blue uniform of the National Socialist Flying Corps, he looked to be the epitome of the dashing young Aryan male. But I was disappointed when I met him at the wedding reception. Like most party members, Johannes Bürkel had the look and air of a man who took himself very seriously indeed. It was Dagmar who made the introduction. Johannes, true to type, brought his heels together with a loud click and bowed his head curtly before shaking my hand. "Congratulations," I said to him. "You're a very fortunate fellow. I'd have asked her to marry me, only I don't think I look as good as you in uniform." I took a closer look at his uniform. On the left breast pocket he wore the silver SA sports badge and the pilot's badge. Above these two decorations was the ubiquitous Scary badge, the party badge. And on his left arm he wore the swastika armband. "Dagmar told me you were a pilot with Lufthansa on temporary attachment to the Ministry of Aviation, but I had no idea." "What did you say he was, Dagmar?" "A sports flyer." "Yes, that's it, a sports flyer. Well, I had no idea you fellows were in uniform." Of course, it didn't take a detective to work out that sports flyer was one of those fancy Reich euphemisms, and that this particular one related to the secret training of fighter pilots. "He does look splendid, doesn't he?" said Dagmar. "And you look beautiful, my dear," cooed the groom dutifully. "Forgive me for asking, Johannes, but is Germany's Air Force now to be officially recognized?" I said. "Flying Corps," said Burkle. "It's a flying corps." But that was the whole of his answer. "And you, Herr Gunther, a private detective, eh? That must be interesting." "Private investigator," I said, correcting him.